because I was watching on the game in my living room, and my girlfriend Fran, she was asleep. She was dead asleep, and so I couldn't scream. But I was like, I couldn't like. That's also a discredit to the teams that can only put up 0 points, put up the same amount of points I put up sitting on my damn couch watching them on TV. First off, first thing I thought of is, why can't my receivers catch like that? That was literally the first freaking thing I thought. Like, damn it. I wish we had receivers that could catch a ball like that. What's going on, everyone? You're listening to the Antonio Chauran Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Antonio Chauran, and this is my last show of 2023. I'm going to be going out of town tomorrow, actually. It's Wednesday I'm recording this, so I'm leaving tomorrow to go to Kansas City to visit some family, obviously for Christmas, for about a week or so, a little under a week. And then I'm actually going to be in Denver with my mom's side of the family. And we're going to be skiing and stuff like that too. So I'm going to be in enemy territory, as you can see. I may even bring a helmet. No, TSA probably won't let me bring that on the plane. But again, it's been a really fun year. I've really only been doing this for half the year. But I've enjoyed doing this. It's been something that I've been talking about doing. I've been going back and forth with it for a couple years, and obviously I was like, let's do it for sure. I wanted to do it. I had the time to do it, and I was just really motivated to get stuff out there, to get my content out there. And for I think I have like 24 subscribers right now. That's the beginning. That's where we'll be starting. And hopefully that grows more and more. I hope you all enjoy the content, even if you're not subscribed and you're seeing my content through Reels, or if you follow me on IG or any other platform that I've been putting it on, and you're watching my stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. But yeah, this has been a lot of fun. And so this will be my last show for 2023. And another thing too, while I'm in Kansas City, I will actually be at the Chiefs game Christmas Day when we play the Raiders. So that's going to be a lot of fun. I'll get some footage for that for the next show that I do in 2024. But yeah, so anyways, I got a lot of thoughts, obviously, from this past weekend, obviously with the Chiefs, with every game that happened. There were a lot of different games to take away some things. And so we're going to talk about all that and more. So yeah, let's get started. So the Chiefs beat the New England Patriots 27-17. It could have been more. It's typical of Andy Reid to let off the gas pedal when, the game's over. But drops, man. Drops after drop after drop. Kadarius Toney specifically. I told my dad after the game, I'm like, I'm just done with Toney, man. And obviously in the heat of the moment, I said that. I still kind of believe it, though. And we actually just today I saw on this Chiefs platform that I follow. It's not the official Kansas City Chiefs, but it's one of their it's an account that does like all Chiefs news and stuff like that. And they said that we signed 2 players to our practice squad. One being wide receiver Anthony Miller and a tight end Isaiah Gathings. I didn't really know who either one of those players were. I think we've had Gathings as a part of the practice squad, but maybe we just released him and then brought him back. And Anthony Miller, I was actually looking at some of his stats. So he was drafted in 2018, and he was with Chicago for the first 3 seasons of his career, and then he went to the Texans for, I guess, maybe a few games because it saw that he was cut, and then he signed with the Steelers for the rest of the 2021 season. But he hasn't played since then. There aren't really any official stats from him playing in the NFL since then. So we're signing him too. So, hey, you know what that tells me? Is that we clearly need help. Obviously, at this point in the season, there aren't really any wide receivers that are on the market that you can just go grab and feel like can really make a difference. We had that opportunity in the freaking offseason. We didn't sign D-Hop. That was frustrating. But yeah, you're clearly seeing on display the lack of production. I said it on the last show after the loss to the Bills. And yeah, man, I just it's clear that if we can't make the Super Bowl, let alone win a few playoff games, make it back to the AFC Championship game, it's going to be because of our wide receiving core. It's going to be because they can't make catches, they can't make the plays, and when push comes to shove, but we need to get a first down, and Pat's looking for a guy to throw to, it's going to be really difficult. I will say though, I mean, a clear bright spot in that wide receiver room is Rashee Rice. He's been balling out, and he's helped me in fantasy. I freaking lost, though. I think it was like 119, 114, and I had all my eggs in that one basket because the only guy I had left was DeAndre Swift, and freaking Jason Kelce tripped him. It was going to be a touchdown, and he literally tackled him it was like on the 1 yard line, and then of course Philly, they love to do the tush push at every time they have the ball at the 1 yard line. It was so frustrating. I was so pissed. Anyways, so I lost, but I'm in the second round right now with another guy. So, anyways, I say all that to say, aside from fantasy, that he's been really productive for us. I'm just looking at his stats right here. He has 68 receptions, 754 yards, 7 touchdowns, averages a little bit over 11 yards a carry or a reception. I mean, yeah, man. As a rookie, I can't remember if he already beat Dwayne Bowe's rookie record. I can't remember if it was for yards or if it was, I think it was receptions, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, he's the only bright spot for us on the receiving end right now in terms of wide receivers. So seeing his emergence is very promising. But when it comes to the playoffs, man, I mean, you're going to be depending on a rookie to make those big crucial catches in those major games. Like, from a mentality standpoint, that's tough. That's a lot to ask for a guy in his rookie season. And it's kind of a repeat of last year where we had rookies in Isaiah Pacheco and Sky Moore, guys like that. And a lot of guys on the defense too, right? Putting him in those spots, and credit to them, they were able to perform. Which is, in speaking of Sky Moore, I mean, damn, like he was placed on IR earlier this week, I saw, so he's going to be out at least for the rest of the regular season. But oh my god, man, I'm done with him. I hate saying that, but he has made no crucial, or not even crucial, but noticeable strides in his development at all. He had a fumble in that Patriots game, which was negated due to a penalty. And I'll be honest, that holding call was pretty weak. And so we kind of got lucky on that there. So we didn't lose momentum, and we didn't give the ball back. But at the same time, man, it's I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the wide receiving coach. I don't know if it's Matt Nagy as offensive coordinator. Something that I want to talk about is the major absence and the loud absence of Eric Bieniemy. And I say loud absence because his absence speaks volumes to what we have seen from the offense so far this season in terms of the lack of production. It's clear he was the bad cop to Andy's good cop, but I feel like every team needs that. There always needs to be that one coach or those players that are kind of assholes, I feel like at that profession, you need a guy like that to hold others accountable. And I get the vibe from Matt Nagy. He's just a guy's guy. I feel like he's not the type to rip players a new one, to chew them out in front of other players. Now, look, do I know this for a fact? No, but I'm just kind of, looking at this from a fan perspective from afar, right? Someone who followed the team pretty closely. He did a really bad job in Chicago. He had that one winning season, and then after that, they were just not good at all. gets fired, and we bring him back. And so I feel like that hire had to do a lot with familiarity, right? Like a guy, you know the system already, you know what you get from him, and it was kind of an easy plug and play. That's kind of what I took away from us re-signing him as our OC. But with Eric Bieniemy, now look, Washington, they're in shambles right now. Jack, if you're watching, I'm sorry, your team sucks. Um, but from an offensive perspective, they've been hitting some strides. Specifically, Sam Howell. Obviously, he throws a lot of picks, but he's having a statistical year right now. Like he's doing well, like his career best in all statistical categories for the most part. I think his production is increasing, and you see more from the offensive side. There's more creativity, there's more fluidity, and all that. And obviously, their defense isn't great, and I think this is going to be Ron Rivera's last season with them, unfortunately. Um, but yeah, and so you saw how well we did last season without Tyreek Hill. Again, we won the Super Bowl without Tyreek, and I feel like since we're struggling this year, everyone's like, "Oh, see, they really missed Tyreek." Why weren't you saying that last year when we were leading the NFL in points per game? And now we have a drop off. Tyreek Hill isn't the factor. Now, do we miss him? Absolutely. I would have loved to have kept Tyreek. We definitely wouldn't be struggling the way that we are if we still had him on the team. But at the same time, you're acting like he was with the team last season when we went all the way to win the Super Bowl, put up 38 points on Philadelphia. So that's not the issue. The issue is I feel like the OC. I genuinely do. I feel like we don't have voices in there that are holding guys accountable the way that they need to, you know? And what I get the vibe, or I get the vibe from Andy, again, he's never going to throw players under the bus, and that's how you should do it, right? At least in front of media or in front of people that are not in the locker room. But I feel like that's an issue. There's a clear lack of development from wide receivers. And again, with drops, with penalties, lack of focus, that's discipline. That's not skill. That's discipline. And I feel like not having that voice in the room in Eric Bieniemy that really harped on the little things, we're missing that. And when push comes to shove in the playoffs, those little things are what will either win you games or lose you games. And with how we're playing right now, I'm glad we got the win, and I haven't really talked about that game. There were some bright spots that, I mean, hey, we were finally able to put up over 20 points. We haven't really been able to do that in these past 4 or 5 games, so I'm glad we broke that against a New England defense that had been playing relatively well over the past month. So, yeah, I mean, that was a good outing from that perspective. But again, if we make those mistakes against, a playoff contender, whether if it's Baltimore, even Jacksonville again, or Buffalo, I'm just thinking AFC right now, but don't even get me started on the NFC. If we do that against a Niner team, a Philly team again, or, maybe Philly, we'll talk about you guys. Or the Cowboys, or, even a Detroit team, those are going to come back and bite us because they're going to make us pay for those mistakes. New England, they're bad enough to where we could get away with it. But at the same time, I'm thinking in the lens of we're not going to be able to do that in the playoffs. We won't be able to come back in the playoffs against a playoff caliber team or a Super Bowl caliber team and expect to get away with that. We will not. It's just plain and simple. The teams are too good. The margin for error is too slim for that. So that's kind of what I took away from that game. Again, I know I was kind of talking generally about that game. There's really nothing to take away from it too much, if I'm being quite honest. There really isn't. the drops, the 2 picks that Mahomes had, I think both could have been catches. Well, the one to Tony definitely should have been caught. I mean, it was right in his freaking hands. But the one to, I think it was Blake Bell, kind of a 50-50 ball. But again, it was tough. I mean, if Pat was just like a hair sooner getting it to Bell, I feel like he would have been able to keep grasp of that ball. There wouldn't have been an issue. But the fact that maybe he was just a tad late to it, give the defender just, that split second more time to get some more control of the ball, that's tough. But both of those plays, again, are signs that, again, offensively, specifically with receivers, now Blake Bell, he's a tight end. He's not a receiver. But just not having that ability to be a reliable pass catcher, it's glaring. And so that's really the main thing I took away from it. In defense, we played great. Again, with that other interception, we could have held him to 10 points. But then they got a short field. Defense had to get right back out there, and obviously they score in like the next play or two. So I don't really put that on the defense. Again, they played lights out. They played great. So, yeah. Just got to get it together with the receiving core. I feel like I sound like a broken record there, but that's really the story of the season for the Chiefs so far. Let's talk about a few games, shall we, from this past weekend. I want to start off with the ass whooping that the Cowboys dealt with against the Buffalo Bills. This says more to me about the Bills in terms of, damn, you can be so good. You can be a giant in the NFL right now. And you're sitting at 8-6 right now. I think you're still 11th, I believe, in the AFC, outside of the playoff picture right now. How did it get to this? You're 8-6. You put out a performance like that. A guy in James Cook, who cooked. He cooked them boys. That's what he did. 179 yards on the ground, 221 total scrimmage yards. Are you kidding me? He beat up that Dallas defense. And the only reason why I'm saying this doesn't say more about the Cowboys is because we know how they can be on the road. They are perfect at home. Now 3-4 on the road so far this season. And if you're a Dallas Cowboy fan, you are praying and hoping that you can still get that 2 seed and at least play one playoff game on the road, or on the first playoff game at home, and pray that the 49ers, for whatever reason, lose their divisional round game. That's not going to happen. Again, this is just wishful thinking from a Dallas fan perspective, not me. I'm just speaking from their perspective, if I were them. But to not be able to perform on the road and get blown out of the stadium the way that you did against Buffalo, disgusting. That's what it was, disgusting. You got your ass whooped, and you look like, and I hear Chris Broussard, first things first, he always says that the teams that they beat up on are tomato cans. They played like a tomato can. That's what he said, and I 100% agree. They are the tomato can right now with how they performed against Buffalo, and I 100% agree. That was just so bad, and a lot of things I felt like were lost in that game. You kind of lost that control of, obviously getting the 1 seed. I think that's kind of out of the question now for them. You kind of have more wiggle room with getting the 1 seed in your division, winning your division. So you got a little bit there, but again, neck and neck with Philly right now. You were lucky that Philly lost. You were so lucky that Philly lost. But the whole MVP conversation with Dak Prescott, I feel like that took a major hit. And with Brock Purdy, now he was able to perform. Get it? I get it. It's against Arizona. A team that beat Dallas, just saying. That's tough. It's really tough. But again, back to Buffalo. I said before this 5-game stretch, you got to win at least 3 of your 5 games. And I said the Chiefs, you guys would lose. I said the Cowboys would be a tough game. Beat both teams. The ball, in my opinion, is in your court. Because look at the other 8 and 6 teams right now. You have the Bengals in the 6th seed. You have the Colts and the Texans all in front of you. And I said the 11th seed. I meant to say the 9th seed. That was my bad. So you moved up. You were the 11th seed. Now you're the 9th seed. Just right outside of that playoff picture. Again, look at the schedule for these teams. Okay. For Cincinnati, they play at Pittsburgh, at Kansas City, and then their last game of the season at home against the Browns. The Colts, a little bit of an easier schedule. They play at Atlanta, at home against the Raiders, and then at home against Houston. That'll be a good game for them too. And for Houston, they play at home against Cleveland, at home against Tennessee, and then they play at Indianapolis. And Buffalo, man, you guys play at Chargers. You should win that game by like 30 points. Then you play against New England at home. Then you play at Miami. So you're looking at those other schedules and you're looking at yours, because right now you don't necessarily control your own fate. You don't. But starting up these last 5 games, you're 2-0 against 2 teams I thought you guys would lose to. Definitely against the Chiefs. We should have beat you guys, but I'm not going to get into that. This is your moment. Again, Chargers, Patriots, Dolphins. I think you guys could beat Miami. I think you guys could win out. You guys should win against the Chargers. New England, maybe a toss-up. They could give you some fits for whatever reason. You should win that game, though. Then Miami, again, they made the Jets look like if there was a G League version NFL team like they do in the NBA, they look like a G League team. 100%. But yeah, Miami looks good. But I've been saying, and I genuinely feel this. I feel like when it comes to stiffer competition, they don't compete very well, and they can get got. And with how you guys are playing, the performance you put up, this told me a lot about you guys. That you guys can win these big games, and you can win big. But it's that consistency factor. You're 8 and 6 for a reason. There are games that you lost that you should have won. Now, is there a game via Kansas City Chiefs that you should have lost? Yeah, but you won that game. So the recipe for success, I think, in my opinion, going forward, pounding the rock. James Cook had a game. Getting rid of your OC, bringing in a new guy has definitely helped a lot. And Josh Allen, he said he felt like that kid that got an A on the science project that did nothing. That's exactly what he did. He didn't turn the ball over. That's what you didn't do. Good job. Finally. But no, I like Josh Allen a lot. I think he's really cool. But yeah, again, pound the rock. Don't turn the ball over. There you go. You guys still have a very commendable defense. And yeah, that's kind of your recipe right there. So right now, it's in your hands to win out. Obviously, 2 of those teams in Houston and Indy, they play each other at the end of the year. Barring any crazy shit that happens, like if they tie for whatever reason, but both get in somehow. I remember, I think the Raiders and Chargers, I can't remember if it was last season or the season before, they played each other at the end of the season, and whoever won was going to the playoffs, but if they tied, they could both get in. I think that was kind of how it worked. Imagine if that was the case, and they're just like, Buffalo can miss out for this year, and they both tie on purpose. That would be crazy. It's also kind of illegal, but yeah. Anyways, yeah, Buffalo, you guys look great. You really did. I did not think that was going to happen. I thought that the Cowboys could win that game. I thought it would be close, but damn, 31-10. Are you kidding me? Did not expect that. The second of the three games I also want to talk about really quickly here, Ravens at Jacksonville. Ravens, I mean, as a Chiefs fan, what I took away from this is, I mean, your defense is incredible. But offensively, I felt like the Chiefs could match. I really did. Now, that run game was stupid. You guys had a total of 251 yards on the ground. 97 from Lamar, 73 from Keaton Mitchell. That injury was tough. I was watching that game and I saw him get injured. His knee buckled. Oh, I felt that sucked because he was easily going to have 100 yards in that game. So that really sucks. I feel horrible for Ravens fans on that because he was balling out, especially for Mitchell. Gus Edwards, 58 yards. Justice Hill, 23 yards, averaging all four of those runners 6 yards a carry. That'll do it. That will 100% do it. Again, Lamar didn't play great, but he didn't really need to, just given how the game was going. There are plenty of opportunities for Jacksonville to get back in that game, but oh my gosh, Trevor Lawrence had like 2 or 3 picks. They were in the red zone like early on 2 or 3 times. First trip down, they don't get it. They don't get a touchdown, so they try to settle for a field goal. You miss that. They go down again. And I don't remember the exact sequence of plays here, but there was like a 4th down they couldn't convert, and left and right. Like it just was not good on their end. So Jacksonville got humbled a little bit, and I think they dropped in a lot of power rankings just from their bad performance, you know. But again, I'm looking at the Ravens. I'm just looking in general, right? Especially like again, I'm always looking at this from a Chiefs perspective. I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable playing other teams in the AFC. I feel like we can compete with Baltimore. I feel like Baltimore is the top dog that we'll play with. But if I were to put in terms of kind of difficulty, I feel like with teams that the Chiefs can match up with, I feel like number 1 is Baltimore. I feel like number 2 are the Bills. Number 3, Miami. Number 4, Jacksonville. You know what? Maybe number 4. I think I'd put the Bengals. I'd put the Bengals number 4, quite frankly. And then number 5, yeah, I have Jacksonville. So like those top 5, yeah, Ravens, Bills, Dolphins, Bengals, Jaguars. That's genuinely how I feel, like in terms of difficulty. But yeah, that's the main thing I took away from this game. I mean, you guys can run the hell out of the rock, but Jacksonville gave you fits. Now, granted, albeit we only put up 17 against them, but that was like week 2, so we could only put up 17. The offense was still trying to get it together from our end. I mean, shit, we still are. But yeah, I mean, we won that game 17-9. You guys went 23-7. I feel like if we were to play you guys, I'm talking to Baltimore right now, that would be a lower scoring game because our defense is playing lights out right now. Your defense is playing lights out right now, 100%. And I feel like it would really come down to that run game because Pacheco, I think we're going to be getting him back in this Raider game Christmas Day this coming Monday. So that'll be good. We got a little run game of our own, all right? But yeah, I definitely feel like that would be the most competitive game, in my opinion. I think those are the 2 top teams in the AFC right now, with the Ravens and the Chiefs. I really do. You say Miami, we beat you, Miami. So I don't want to hear that. So yeah, that's really how I feel right now. Yeah, that's those are really the main things I took away from that game. And lastly, before we get into games to look forward to this coming weekend, in my opinion, what I think you guys should watch, Eagles at Seahawks. That was a crazy. I watched that game basically from start to finish. I started watching it towards like the end of the first quarter, early second quarter. Oh my God. That, first off, kudos to Drew Lock. Went to MU. M-I-Z. Z-O-U. There you go. I grew up a Mizzou fan because in Kansas City, you're either from KCMO or you're from KCK. I'm from KCMO. So I hate the Jayhawks. So if you're a Jayhawks fan, I don't like you. It's as simple as that. Um, but yeah, I'm a Tiger through and through. I never went there, obviously. But that's just how I grew up. I grew up a Missouri Tiger fan. Anyways, so Drew Lock, shout out to him. Played an amazing game in the elements. I feel like it's always in the elements when you're playing in Seattle. But damn, that 3 straight losses for the Eagles now. Get whooped by the 49ers, get whooped by the Cowboys, and you lose a heartbreaker in Seattle. Jalen Hurts, I know he was sick. He reportedly had flown to Seattle separately from the team. I don't know if this was supposed to be his Florida. I don't know if this was supposed to be his Jordan flu game or whatever, but yeah, that was a bootleg Jordan flu game, if you ask me. Again, 17 of 31, 143 yards, 2 picks. I mean, those 2 picks towards the end of the game were they just made no sense to me. Why are you? Yeah, I mean, it was clear he wasn't 100%, but he's trying to throw the deep ball, and he gets picked off both times. It just, dude, what are you doing? And there were some replays on some of those passes where he was trying to go to AJ Brown, but then you have Devontae Smith running an under route, a cross route, and he was open. Just get the yards. You don't need to get everything back in one play. But that's just kind of what happened. And obviously, towards the end of the game, you really needed to take that big shot. But oh man, that was tough. I saw that play. Obviously, the throw to DK that was huge, and then that bomb to Smith Jigba. I think that's how you say his name. Because I was watching the game in my living room, and my girlfriend Fran, she was asleep. She was dead asleep, and so I couldn't scream. But I was like I couldn't I wanted to react, but I was like, ooh. I was like, oh, and I kind of caught myself. I'm like, when she's sleeping, so I had to do that. But holy shit, that's what I thought. First thing I thought of is, why can't my receivers catch like that? That was literally the first freaking thing I thought. Like, damn it. I wish we had receivers that could catch a ball like that. In that time in the game, I do not trust any of our MVS, no. Justin Watson, possibly. Kadarius Toney, hell no. Mecole Hardman, probably not. And he hasn't played in a few games, so anyways. Rashee Rice and Justin Watson are really the only 2 guys that maybe I could think could make that catch. But that's it. Anyways, it just, man, the defense in that particular situation too, with Matt Patricia calling plays on the sideline, Mr. Pencil, even though his freaking sheet is laminated. What are you drawing on that? That's tough. It's really tough. And so the Eagles, look, not all records right now are equal. You look at Detroit, that's 10-4. Eagles that are 10-4. Cowboys are 10-4. Out of those 3 teams, they all have different mentalities right now, even though they all have the same record. I feel like the one that is mostly kind of what the hell, are the Eagles. The one that are sitting high right now and feeling themselves is Detroit. Sitting at 10-4, they're like, hell yeah, man, this is our season, let's go. Then you have the Cowboys that just came off of that ass whooping against Buffalo, and they're like, damn, that sucked. But hey, we'll bounce back as long as we're at home. And then the Eagles, on a 3-game skid, you guys were 10-1. You guys should be 9-5. We should have beat you guys too. I feel like I could say that about over half of the games that we lost. But anyways, but yeah, like you're a Philly fan right now. I mean, what are you feeling? Right? You're kind of like, what's going on? Right? Our defense seems to not be able to hold up against good teams, and our offense, we're not running the ball the same. Jalen Hurts doesn't look the same. You know, AJ Brown doesn't seem 100% happy. Who knows, right? Like you make a late season coaching change with the defense. Now the defensive coordinator got moved up to the booth. Bring Matt Patricia down, calling the plays on the sideline. What's going on? I thought it was always sunny in Philadelphia. Not right now. Not in that rainstorm. Shit, if it's raining, you guys are screwed. That's what that tells me. But damn, that sucks. So again, not all records are created equal at this moment in time. But yeah, it's tough, Philly, very tough. All right, now let's look at 3 games, and obviously the Chiefs are going to be one of them. So let's start with that because that will be the game I'm literally at in person. I'm very excited about that game. Look, I know they just hung 63 on the Chargers. And Brandon Staley's last game as a Charger head coach. He's out. Had to happen. 100% understand. He'll be fine. I do not feel bad for him at all. But we're not the Chargers. Okay? Not the Chargers. And we're going to win this game. I want to be there. I want to get footage in that game. See if I can get in the post-game press conferences. Who knows? Maybe. Probably not. Probably not. But yeah, we're going to win this game. I feel very comfortable. We won our last game against them 31-17. I think it'll be an even wider gap. I'm going to pick us to win this game 34. All right. Maybe I don't want to get too ahead of my skis. We'll win comfortably. I think we'll win this game 30-14. I think that's good. We're going to win this game 30-14. Secondly, Cowboys at Miami. Again, if it's an away game, Cowboys do not know how to play. And I think that's going to translate over to this game. Miami just beat the Jets 30-0. I mean, I feel like a lot of teams, more so this season, have been putting up donuts more than any other season. And, hey, that's a credit to the other team being able to put a defensive plan together like that. But that's also a discredit to the teams that can only put up 0 points, put up the same amount of points I put up sitting on my damn couch watching them on TV. You know? So that's unfortunate. Cowboys got embarrassed, straight up. Like, they were able to get it together after that 49er loss that they had earlier in the season. They were able to rip off, 5, 6, 7 straight games with a win. And then, like a very loud hole against the Bills. So, we'll see how they bounce back. I feel like this is going to be a really telling game for obviously both teams, but especially the Cowboys in terms of, all right, is this just one of those seasons where you have a pretty good regular season and you just flame out in the playoffs, or are you guys dim boys this year? So it'll be interesting to see from that perspective. But Miami, too, their opportunity to win a game against a winning team. You know, the Jets aren't a winning team. They had a pretty good defense, but you're able to put 30 up on him. You got Mike McDaniel saying, I feel like this is going to be a one-play drive. And sure enough, it was a freaking bomb to Jalen Waddle. That was crazy. I love Mike McDaniel. He's such a cool dude. Seems like a great coach to play for, too. But yeah, I'm going to pick Miami. I am going to pick Miami. Just, I'm not trying to be a victim of recency bias here, but damn, like a 3-4 record on the road. I mean, that's very telling. And for a Super Bowl caliber team, supposedly, in the Dallas Cowboys, that's unacceptable. In Miami, I feel like they're on fire right now, and offensively, I mean, they're always good, except for against the Chiefs. But I'm going to pick Miami to win this game, 27-21. And lastly, Ravens at Niners. This is going to be a great game. Statistically, or I guess record-wise, the two best teams in the NFL, both at 11-3. Go Niners. please. I want the Ravens to lose. I hope they lose. Because yeah, we need to get that 1 seed. That would be nice. If not, that's all right. I'm not tripping. If we can get the 2 seed, fine with that. But oof, I'm gonna pick the Niners here. Again, the Niners, they're just too good. I feel like the Niners are the best team in the entire NFL right now. Their defense is great. Their offense is great. You got MVP leader right now in Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, who could also be a possible MVP as well. He's lights out. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. Like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, and then again, on the defensive side of the ball, we know all those guys. Javarius Ward. Shout out to Javarius Ward, man. He used to play with the Chiefs. Now he's with the Niners. He's balling out. He had 2 interceptions in that game against the Cardinals. He's been playing great. He's a hell of a player. I wish we still had him, but he has made huge strides since being with the 49ers. I'm happy for him. So, yeah, I hope he picks off Lamar. You know, come on, Ward, you got it. But, yeah, I think the Niners just genuinely, I feel like they have the best overall team in the entire NFL. I think that the Ravens will be able to run on them 100%. I would love to see, though, how their defense is going to be tested against this Niner team. I really do. And vice versa with the Niner team. Again, they beat the Cardinals pretty handily. They still allowed 29 points. I feel like people really aren't talking about that much. I would rather beat a team 23-7 than 44-29. That's just me. Now, were they garbage points? Possibly. I guess so. But they were still able to put 29 on him. So, that's a Cardinal team. I get it, an in-division opponent, but it's still the Cardinals. They only have like 3-4 wins on the season. So, anyways, I noticed that. I don't really know if anyone else did. Maybe they did. They just didn't really think anything of it, but they let the Cardinals score 29 points on them. Just saying. But I'm still going to pick the 49ers to win this game. I don't think it'll be as high scoring, just given the defenses. But you also got to give credit to the offenses. They're pretty freaking elite. So I'm going to pick the 49ers to win this game 28-24. All right, guys, that's all I have for you all today. Thank you all for listening. And again, thank you all again for watching my content and, sending me love about it. I really appreciate it. All my family that watches, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate it. I love all the support you all give. And it's been a fun year, a good year, a lot of change, professionally and personally for me, great change. And I'm excited to see what the year of 2024 brings, but more really excited from this standpoint of continuing to grow the channel. I want to have more guests. I want to have, just some different ways to go about distributing content to you and information to you. I enjoy this a lot. I'm going to continue to improve and get better production, just better overall quality to you guys. And I hope you all see that as the videos continue. So I wish you all a happy holiday, whatever holiday you celebrate. I wish the best to you all. Happy New Year, and I will see you all next year. It's like, no, I'm totally like messing up the flow of this outro here, but everyone, it's that time of year now. See you next year. They're like, I haven't seen you since last year. Oh my God. Sorry, that was dumb, but I'll catch you all later.